Up until this point, we've been dealing with the Photoshop layers, much like you would deal with a collage. So basically, one layer is just placed above the next. That's a pretty nice feature about Photoshop, that you can have multiple layers and move them around and work with them. But one thing that can take your images from great to greater is that you can use the blending modes in the layers panel to help you achieve any kind of effects that you might want, especially in this exercise and this project, because we are copying attributes of one thing and putting them on another. Sometimes it's helpful to be able to blend the two layers that you're working with. So I'm going to show you one example of where you might use this, but then there are hundreds of other reasons and examples of times where this might come in handy for you. So I just have a basic image of a softball, and then I went ahead and just pulled a cheetah pattern here, and let me go ahead and get back to my normal blending mode. So I was sort of imagining, let's say I was doing a transformation where I was turning a baseball into a cheetah. So maybe there's some point in my fictitious transformation where I want to have the patterning of the cheetah on the softball, but still have it look kind of like a softball. So here you can see that I have the cheetah pattern. I can turn on and off the visibility so that I can see the object behind it. One other thing that we haven't talked about is that you can change the opacity of the layers. So if I wanted to tone this down a little, I could, and that just is a temporary fix so that you can see what's behind it. So for instance, this might be really helpful if I wanted to erase some of that pattern and be able to see where the ball was, so I didn't erase, any part of the ball. That might be pretty useful. So that's a helpful option. I'll turn that back to 100. The blending modes are right to the left of where it says opacity, and you can see that there are all of these different options. I really encourage you to play with them and see what each one does, because they just have really different characteristics, and one might be more useful than another. A few that I use a lot are multiply, color burn, and overlay. Those are basically the three that I will often work with, but there's lots of other options here that might suit your needs. So let's just look at one of them. If I click on multiply, you can see that instantly it becomes a little more transparent so that I can see the object behind it. So that might be something that you're interested in. Sometimes I play with both the blending modes and the opacity to try to get things to where I want them. So let's say I wanted to make this, ball cheetah printed. I could maybe come here to my original layer. I could use the magic wand and select the white background. I could delete that off of layer 1, and then this might be a great step for my transformation if I'm, happen to be doing this pretend example that I'm giving you. If you click on color burn, you'll see that there's a different effect that happens. Lighten, screen. Overlay is also one that I use a lot. So what's nice about these is that it combines both the characteristics of the layer that's on top and the layer that's underneath, so that they can be a little bit more kind of cohesive, so that it's not so much like a collage anymore, but you're really taking advantage of making a digital collage, which allows you to reveal or conceal some parts of the layers underneath if that suits your needs. So feel free to play around with those and see what they can do for you.